Do you want to make your travel feel like first class? Today I have a stack of travel tips and hacks to breeze through your travel, including tips for airport security, packing and more. Welcome to Linky Lifestyle. I'm Mardi and I've been travelling for over 25 years with my husband Michael, so we love to share our expertise with you to help you plan holidays that aren't just fun, but truly unforgettable. While we all love to travel, sometimes the realities of travel can be stressful. I have 10 travel-related topics covered here with tips, tricks and hacks to help smooth the road in front of you. For me, half the fun of travel is the planning. I watch videos, read blogs, visit tourist information sites and make plans for our trip. But don't make your planning too rigid. I once planned a driving trip around the UK for 6 weeks with at least 3 stops each day and no more than 2 nights in any one place. I was in my 20s then, but after just a few days, my ex-husband and I were exhausted. 3 great sites to book tours and accommodation through are Klook, Expedia and Viator. I'll provide links below, but these are the main ones we use. Also, when we take a cruise, we plan shore excursions through Shore Excursions Group. I'll link that too. If you're on a budget trip, try Googling the place you're visiting, followed by free tours. Many places have tour groups that offer free tours, but you are expected to tip, so factor that into your budget. During the planning stage, you may be looking at accommodation through Airbnb. And if you find something you like the look of, try Googling its title. Many of the properties on Airbnb have smaller property management groups behind them, and if you can find out the original manager, you might find the property is cheaper. And make sure you check the weather for the locations you're visiting. It will guide in planning your activities and also on what to pack. Speaking of packing, my favourite subject, you've checked the weather so you can plan your clothing. Dressing in layers is the best approach to variable weather conditions. I always wear dresses, and while I have lighter and heavier fabrics for different climates, I use leggings, long sleeve t-shirts, cardigans, jackets and scarves to layer up or down while I'm travelling. But go easy on the packing. You don't need a completely new outfit every day. It can get boring having a limited range of clothes, but seriously, you're the only one who's going to notice. Fabrics like merino wool can cut down on the need to wash, but also, if you think you need to wash everything after one wear, think again. I don't wash clothes other than underwear unless they're visibly dirty or they smell, and this is where layering comes in handy again. Multiple lighter layers are easier to wash in a hotel sink than one big layer. Another benefit of packing lighter is being able to manage your luggage more easily. Don't be that person who can't lift their bag into the overhead locker. If you're checking a bag, it's a good idea to pack some basics in your carry-on luggage in case your checked bag is delayed or lost. Just an extra top and set of underwear should be enough to keep you going for a day or two. Be aware of airline restrictions, particularly if you're going to be using more than one airline during your trip. Check their luggage requirements online and make sure you use the most restrictive one to guide your packing. We travelled from Australia to Canada via New York last year, and being high status with Qantas, we packed our usual fairly heavy check-in bag. When we checked in with Delta for the flight to Montreal, we were hit with a huge overweight baggage fee. Learn from our experience. And always pack luggage scales so you can keep an eye on the weight if you're inclined to purchase lots of souvenirs. Something I can be guilty of. Shoes can be a luggage space hog. Keep them to a minimum. I usually pack 2 pairs of shoes I can walk in and 1 pair for slipping on the hotel, such as flat hotel style slippers if the hotel doesn't provide them. Never bring shoes you haven't broken in. And remember, you don't need to put both shoes from a pair into a shoe bag and pack them together in your suitcase. That eats up room. You can separate them, they won't fret. And if space is tight, fill them with small items like socks. If you don't have shoe bags, you can also use hotel shower caps to cover the soles so they don't put dirt and germs on your other stuff. And there are always a few things you have to pack at the last minute before you leave, like your toothbrush. Write them on a sticky note and stick it to your bag so you don't forget them. Moving through our trip, we arrive at the airport, so the first thing to work through is security. This has got to be everyone's least favourite part, right? Being prepared will make it easier. Avoid wearing a belt with metal on it or shoes that are hard to take off or put on. And never wear a hidden money belt through security. If you're carrying valuables that you need to put through the scanner, have them packed in a bag so there's less temptation for thieves. And if you're travelling through an unfamiliar airport, research their security requirements. When we flew from Australia to New York via Auckland a couple of years ago, I wore boots that came up slightly higher than my ankle, knowing that Australian security doesn't require shoes to be taken off. However, I didn't know that in Auckland, even though we were just transiting, we had to go through security again, and they required shoes higher than the ankle to be taken off. Finally, you get to your flight. You checked in on the airline app, right? That always saves some time, and if you can select your seats, do that as soon as seat selection opens up. And consider what you need from your seats. Do you have carry-ons you need space for? Plan to sit towards the back of the plane where there should be more space for carry-ons. The bonus is that these seats are the most likely to hold survivors in the event of an emergency. On the other hand, avoid sitting near the toilets, particularly on long flights. They can have people queuing up, and sometimes there are smells. If there's two of you travelling and the seating is 3 across, seat one of you in the window seat and one in the aisle. If the plane isn't full, it's less likely someone will select the seat between you. And if they do, you can just offer to swap with one of you. Generally speaking, early morning flights are least likely to experience delays. In Canberra, where we live, there's lots of fog around the airport in winter, so experienced Canberra travellers always book the first flight out in the morning. Landing planes can be delayed due to the fog, whereas the first one out landed the night before and should take off on time. If you have an iPhone and you message your flight number to someone, they'll get a link they can click on and preview your flight. It will show if it's running early or late too. And you'll have this link in your sent messages also, so you can use it. But the flight number has to be in the correct format. For instance, QF1420 is the daily 6 a.m. flight from Canberra to Sydney, for example. On a long flight, you can use a hanging toiletry bag to put your flight essentials in. Phone, charger, medications, lip balm, that sort of thing. Then you can use the hook to hang it on the tray table or the seat back pocket. Also on a long flight, wear compression socks. No one needs a DVT ruining their holiday or their life. These days we all like to be in constant contact with our friends and family at home, as well as being able to communicate with the people around us in our holiday location and use maps to get around. We've used eSIMs for years. You need a phone that's, say, less than about 5 or 6 years old. It's so much easier than what we used to do, which was take an old phone, buy a local SIM for it and carry it around for local communications, maps and information. But what if you can't speak the local language? Before you go, make sure you have the Google Translate app on your phone and download the languages you'll encounter on your travels. That way you can use it offline if you need to. Which brings me to my next topic, culture. No, I don't mean you need to visit the opera, but if that's your thing, do it. I mean, embrace the culture you're visiting. Don't just eat food you're used to. I love hamburgers and hot dogs as much as anyone, but if I'm in Japan, I'd rather have sashimi or tempura. Don't be scared of things just because they're different. Do some research, watch videos, read up on the way of life in that country. It will make your visit all the more interesting. And learn a few words of the language. Just hello, thank you, and excuse me is enough to start with. Konnichiwa, arigato gozaimasu, sumimasen. Don't worry about how you sound or your accent too much. Think about how you'd feel if someone came to your country and didn't know a single word of your language. You'd excuse an accent, right? Have you learned anything yet? I hope so. We'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe. It costs you nothing and it really helps us. You may not realise, but we don't get payment for the ads you see during our videos. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers and a certain number of view hours to get payments from YouTube. We're just over halfway there, and it would be amazing to get paid, even just a small amount, for all our hard work on the channel. So please subscribe, or check out the description for other ways to support us. Money, that thing that makes the world go round. The biggest money mistake I ever made was last year, when I forgot to take the ATM card that could withdraw cash overseas. I was fortunate that things worked out, but it was one of my stupidest travel mistakes ever. So don't forget a card that enables you to withdraw cash. You'll get a better exchange rate from a local ATM, but check if your bank partners with any banks in the country you're visiting to avoid or minimise fees. And when you're using an ATM, make sure it's in a secure area, inside a convenience store, in a secure bank lobby, not a seedy machine chained in the street outside a nightclub. But don't withdraw cash if you don't need it. People from tipping cultures, I'm looking at you North Americans, think they need cash for tips everywhere they go. But in countries like Australia, New Zealand, Japan and much of Europe, tipping isn't a thing. I rarely need cash when I travel, unless it's to the USA for tips or somewhere like Japan that still has lots of businesses that only take cash. So my trips to Singapore, the UK and Germany last year were all cash free. Nearly everyone has a credit card these days, so make sure you have one that earns you points for travel or cashback or other benefits. You'll most likely have to pay an annual fee, so make sure the fee's worth it for you. My American Express Qantas Ultimate card costs $450 a year, but I get a $450 travel credit, earn Qantas frequent flyer points at the best rate available, and get other benefits such as travel insurance. Sometimes when paying by card, you're offered the chance to pay on your home currency or the local one. Never select your home currency. Exchange rate will be unfavourable and your card provider will likely still charge you a foreign exchange fee. Always have a backup payment method. My two main cards are my American Express and a MasterCard that also earns Qantas frequent flyer points. But because it has a low credit limit and sometimes gets temporarily blocked, I also have another MasterCard with no points and no fee, but it's there when the other two won't work for me. I've seen a tip that your iPhone can now do currency conversions, and that's true, but I prefer to have a rough idea of the exchange rate in my head. In Japan last year it was divide the yen by 10, in the UK I doubled the pounds to get the Australian dollars, and in the USA I added 50%. That way I can understand what I'm paying with a quick mental calculation. Of course, if I was spending a significant amount, I'd want a more accurate conversion, but if ordering in a restaurant, buying a bottle of water or paying for a museum, a rough calculation is close enough. One last thing to do with money. These days a lot of online banking sites and apps require two-factor authentication, and that's often an SMS. These text messages won't be received when you're overseas, and this caused me a lot of problems in Canada last year. For some reason my bank's app locked me out, and to reset the password I needed to receive a text, and I couldn't pay my American Express if I couldn't log in. I had to make an expensive phone call to Australia to sort it out. Now when I sign up for two-factor authentication, I either use an authenticator app like Google Authenticate or an email to get the code sent to. We've all got some tech, and people who make videos for YouTube have more than others. We try to minimise the amount of tech and associated gear we carry. You don't need a separate charger and cord for each item. Get one charger that you can plug multiple things into. If one of those is a laptop, make sure it can provide enough power to charge it. I use this one. It has 3 USB outlets, 1A and 2C. I plug this Apple device charging mat into it, which takes care of my AirPods, iPhone and watch. I plug my laptop in, and then I have the USB-A socket spare to charge things like my toothbrush, makeup mirror, Bose headphones and DJI camera. Since I have 3 outlets on the one charger, I only need 3 cords. To really manage this well, you need to work towards everything charging through USB-C. We've done this as much as possible, but I'm not replacing my old but perfectly good Bose headphones just for that. So I do still have to carry a micro USB cable, unfortunately. One day. Speaking of charging, never use a public USB outlet, say in an airport, to charge your phone. Data can be stolen or viruses uploaded. If you need to do this, carry one of these little devices. It blocks data transfer, so you'll receive power for your phone, but data can't be transferred either way. And a great tip I read recently was that if travelling to an extremely humid climate, and particularly with camera gear, pack those little silica gel packs with your tech. You get them all the time in shoe boxes and other things you purchase, or you can buy a bag of them from Amazon. They help keep moisture out of your electronics. And moisture in your electronics can be a risk, so I'll move on to some other risks and ways to mitigate them. You can tell I used to be an accountant. Always have travel insurance and read the fine print. I've told stories in past videos about travel insurance, so I won't repeat them here. Use air tags to find your luggage. We arrived back in Canberra from New York a couple of years ago, travelling via Auckland and Sydney. We were put on an earlier plane from Sydney than we'd booked, and we boarded pretty much as soon as we arrived at the domestic terminal. When we got to Canberra, we went to get our luggage off the carousel, and while we were waiting, I checked the location of it. I wasn't surprised to see it was still in Sydney. In fact, a lot of people waiting found out theirs was still in Sydney too. By seeing the location in Find My, we were first at the lost luggage desk and on our way home quickly. We didn't have to queue up behind everyone else. We were happy to go home without it after over 24 hours of travel, and Qantas delivered it to us the next day. And always take a photo of your luggage in case the lost luggage desk wants to see what it looks like. If you have generic looking luggage, attach a bright tag or a ribbon or a sticker to it so you can see it easily. And hopefully this will also prevent someone else from thinking it's theirs and taking it. Or better still, when buying luggage, get an unusual colour. We have white, orange, red, pink and green. It makes it so much easier for Michael to spot it, since he's our luggage handler. Speaking of tags, never put your address on your luggage identification tag. I just put Linky and Michael's phone number with the international code in front of it. And for a similar reason, don't throw your boarding pass away intact. Take it home and shred it, or tear it up into really small pieces. There's plenty of information to identify you on there, including your name and frequent flyer number. When you're travelling, make sure you hold your personal items like your phone close to you and make it hard for a thief to snatch. Never put your wallet or anything valuable in a back pocket. Use an inside pocket in a jacket if possible. And my final risks are to do with medication. If you have prescription medication, take a few days extra in case of delays. We had to delay our return home from the USA by 2 days when Michael got sick and had to go to hospital in Auckland. Luckily, we had extra medication on hand to cover those extra days. And always pack a small kit of your regularly used over-the-counter medications. You don't want to have to find out where to buy it when you desperately need it. Plus, in some situations, such as on a cruise, it can be a lot more expensive to buy it where you are. I used to be mad about skincare and had some very intense multi-step skincare layering routines that varied by the day of the week. I've cut back on that now, which makes life a lot easier, but I still like to look after my skin. So I have 2 tips to finish off this video. Firstly, if you're flying during daylight hours, always wear sunscreen on any exposed skin. You won't get burnt by the UVB rays on a plane, but the UVA can still enter the cabin, bounce around and age your skin. I always have sunscreen for my face, arms and lips with me on daytime flights. And on long flights, your skin can really dry out. I take a small selection of skincare on the plane and do a cleansing and hydrating routine before I go to sleep and when I wake up. Your skin will thank you and it'll help you feel refreshed too. One last thing, don't forget to drink plenty of water. If you've enjoyed this, learn more about packing by clicking here, and to find out more about long haul flying comfort, click here. Bye for now.